Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you another castover. This is IskatuMesk as Protoss against the Beaver as Terran on Death Spiral. Now, we did see this map deployed in Ascension number 3 group stage, so you should be somewhat familiar with it, but if you missed that tournament or you're just not aware, it's a map that I made myself. And of course, we are having a thunderstorm, so enjoy the ambiance. I definitely didn't add that into the video intentionally. Wink, 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 wink. Or I should say I definitely added that video. I have to say the lie and then wink at you to let you know it's a lie. But no, there's actually a thunderstorm happening. But, you know, why not cast during such an ambiance? You know, I really do feel like, as a total aside, it's really nice when you get to experience a thunderstorm. You get to see the lightning and hear the rumbling, and obviously rain usually comes with that. And it's just a nice reminder of how powerful Mother Nature is. So powerful that I must drink some water, as is my natural way. A quarry is on the way, and so too are your threes, potentially, if you check out the link at the bottom right. Ooh. Of course, we have a 2-game series here for you today, so this will not be like the other castovers where it was just one game at a time. And we're a little bit on the longer side, particularly the one with Mesk against Benno. A instantaneous pylon. Well, I can already tell you that these games are going to be dumb, but I should have known that just from the fact that Mesk was Protoss. Always dumb. This map does feature a nighttime recolor, by the way, if you guys are wondering why colors may be changed. And a Warden instantaneously is here. Now, he's all in with this. He has nothing back at home. So, you don't really need to bother, in my opinion, killing the Scribe. Although he could have, maybe. He is indeed going to go for the pylon. That can just be taken care of, so that's not really that big of a deal. And Beaver does not have any money for any units, so he needs to get off of gas for sure. His response to this could have been a little bit better. He's also getting tickled to death by the Scribe, and he's also not killing the Warden. So that pylon was indeed destroyed. This pylon on the other side will not be. And yeah, definitely needs to focus. As soon as you see another pylon go down, you need to focus your efforts on the Warden itself. Of course, this Warden will be tickled to death, so that's not a problem whatsoever. And he needs to instantaneously, turn on that one. A Maverick has been created, but it was instantaneously killed. And yeah, again, there's nothing here for Mesk. He has nothing back at home. He does have a lot of money, but, you know, is he really going to bother trying to warp in more stuff? Indeed, he does go for a Warden. A Huracan is on the way. Not a bad choice, but I think it was like some other unit was canceled or something. So yeah, at this point, these are all just pylons to scare. Obviously, the another Mason should step in and attack this. You do need 2 Masons to kill a Warden in general. But with the Huracan, maybe Ahmed will save him. That won't be too shabby. And so as silly as this game is, I think, yeah. Like, it was stupid. If you want to do a block, you need to change it here. You need to do, like, a diagonal path. That's totally impathable. But it wouldn't have stopped it. I think you could have built one here, and then here, and then here, and that would have blocked it. But obviously that didn't happen. And again, he can just rally the other way, although he didn't in this case. So I guess maybe Mesk was quite surprised to see that. Now, as these pylons get burnt by Ahmed, this double gateway transition will be spotted by none other than Beaver himself. He didn't really have the money to spare to build anything over here. He could have built like a proxy anchor or something for Ahmed to jump into. Although he doesn't fire from anchors right now, which is a bug I'm trying to fix. I have no idea what broke that. I basically need to go through the Git history of any changes to the bunker hooks file and see what might have changed things. And if that fails, then I need to look at all the stuff that bunker hooks calls and see any Git changes to those functions. It's just going to be a mess. But anyway, enough about that. He doesn't want to stay behind and clean up. He wants to immediately go into it. I don't know if this is the right choice. As Terran, with only one production facility, I think your choice is to clear out all of these pylons and maybe build outside of their range anyway, and then use that as an opportunity to just start transitioning into a more standard game, particularly versus Mesk. I don't think he thrives in standard games, you know what I mean? I don't think that's exactly something that is his bread and butter. So as soon as you see the Warden here, you need to know, okay, well, there's not much I can do here. I'm just going to waltz on backwards with my triple Ahmed death squad and head back home. Or, you know, you can also stay on the other side of the map, but, you know, you expect Drakadins from this sort of situation. Now, Ahmed isn't too shabby against Drakadins, surprisingly, but obviously 2 of these were wounded already, so, and the micro/focus was not great, and these pylons are still here providing scouting intel of everything made by that stockade. You could just float that away as another thing that you could do to avoid getting bamboozled. The units will remain at home, so I think we will normalize into a more standard game, and Mesk is behind in workers because of all of his shenanigans. And yeah. I mean, I would build one more Ahmed and just kill him slowly, because Ahmed, dude. But, you know, I understand why maybe that isn't the move that is desired. Maybe at least killing it with like a single Maverick or something that doesn't reveal too much and does indeed block this whole thing and make it suddenly, oh, I have no vision on anything in his base. And psychologically, that does things to a man. So that's usually my move. Now with the Quarry, obviously, this explains the worker difference. Mesk didn't lose any workers, but did go very, very all in early on with all of his double Warden shenanigans. And then that turned into a third one that warped in. And then a fourth one was tried but got canceled. And so on and so forth. All the completed pylons, all the money. All gone. A Zealot will go ahead and probe down here into the bottom right. We can say that now because scribes are not called probes, and a star pad is on the way after the second stockade. So Beaver up to his usual stuff, and he will indeed. He'll put my heart at ease. We get to see Ahmed defeating pylons. At least Ahmed gets to defeat something then. 4 Drakidins, a 5th one on the way, and Mesk looking like he wanted to build a structure but forgot what to do, so he went back to mining. I'm sure he cannot relate to that at all, and that definitely was not what happened. Wink. Wink, wink, wink. But what does happen is more water. Of course, I did mention we're going to go through a backlog of games here, so this is still in that period. There is no pre-release selection extender, etc. This is all recorded in a string of time where we're doing our best to clear out the backlog, just like he cleared out the back pylons using Ahmed. Does have a lot of Mavericks, and is getting an Anseal, so you could push forward with that. Versus Drakidins, it's not a bad move. Obviously, you counter the burst. So not too shabby at all. Maybe a double Anseal wouldn't be too bad. He actually cancels his Anseal and goes for a Wraith instead for scouting purposes, which I also don't mind. Really, any unit out of the star pad would have been somewhat, somewhat interesting. Could have gone for like a Cyprian drop or, you know, a Wraith to scout the expansion timing and the tech and etc. And all that stuff. So, and Anseal for a push. You know, not too shabby. But queuing it maybe is a little bit less understandable because you want to be able to spend that money. That being said, with the treasury on the way, Beaver does intend to expand. He will be able to do so relatively at the same time as Mesk's expansion timing. The Wraith is going along the other side of the map. It is going to be pathed around just to see what's going on with expansion timings. It will indeed find the top left base, find that there's nothing in this big section over here where you need multiple town centers to fully engage that. And this army will be spotted by the Zealot, so I like this positioning here by Mesk, using the map to its great effect. Meanwhile, a Scribe on this side, obviously that could be pretty silly. We'll see what happens there. More units, not being any trained here, so slipping on the macro potentially. But yeah, this Zealot at this point is going to start catching some of these reinforcements. So the micro is not there for Beaver to save that one man, but he will indeed hunt down this Zealot at great cost to his APM and focus. At the same time, Mesk is also using a lot of his APM and focus on that. Well, he could definitely have been queuing up Drakidins there a little bit faster. He does have a sequestered icon on the way. Excellent versus bio. Either a Cantors or Architects will do great work against that. And I don't know if Beaver clicked on that in all the heat, so he might not be aware that that's happening. That being said, it's going to be a while before the Cantors come in. So the Mavericks and etc. are going to charge on 4th. They can just go straight to this expansion or maybe contain the Drakidin menace over here. It is Mass Drakidin. You don't really have the Anseal with you, so this is very sloppy from the Beaver, and he is starting to lose a lot of infantry. 2 armor on the Drakidins means that they take 4 damage from Mavericks, so they really do heavily deal with that quite significantly. And yeah, at this stage, it's not looking too hot. He could have used that pressure to just charge on forward to the Nexus. Cliff advantage here be damned. Oh, and hey, check out our ramp, dude. Isn't that so nice? Thanks to DF. Big thanks to him. Treasury on the way. This base is starting to train scribes. Again, worker count in favor of the Terran due to the quarry. He can add another one and is getting fulcrums to deal with the Drakidin transition. Still not sure that he scouted the sequestered icon. It will be creating architects, which is a more... It's actually a more siege weapon, like a Cantors were the siege weapon of Protoss in Starcraft 1, when they were called Reavers and etc. But in this particular shot, we are actually expecting the Architect to subsume that role, with the Cantors being a little bit more on the Raider side. You know, you just drop them or you use them to deal with groups of units, but they have a very fire and forget, slow projectile. Quarry indeed being constructed in the bottom right, no workers transferred yet. Well, we'll see what happens. A Vulture on the way for the Beaver. Is a big fan of lobsters. Apparently didn't even find that Scribe, so that's real lazy from him. Once again, we just casted a game with Mesk against Benno. You gotta find, if you find a Mesk worker, you gotta kill it, because otherwise he's just gonna micro-expand everywhere, and then suddenly you're owned. 4 Drakodons are gonna be on the way, and there's not really, well, there's some units here to deal with that, but that's gonna be a little bit of a headache. Might be able to snipe the quarry if they're attentive here, and a Warden that is incomplete is going to be on the way as well, but the Architect is here and will fire a shot, killing 2 out of 3 of those Mavericks, and destabilizing the rest of them that were on an attack move position. Now they're going to go ahead and force target the Warden, but yeah, the Architect's positioning here makes this very unlikely to do any damage. It even gets the cancel off there, so Mesk is doing pretty well for himself. His Drakodons have not moved any further forward, and a Warden is being put on the bottom or top right base. The Envoy will be scouted out here, and I imagine an Iskatumesk should be on the way sometime soon. But you can also pick up and transition Architects. It's just they're less immediately volatile. Now, this Trojan was here, and it did have a couple of units here. He wants to swap those out for Hurricans instead of Mavericks, and he's going to go with a 2 Vulture, 2 Huracan, 2 Maverick drop. The liftoff is instantaneous. A Mason has died, and a Quarry is going to be under siege. So that's 100 gas and 100 minerals. 75 gas? 50 gas? 50 gas. Another Architect on the way. No witnesses. Oh, no, there is a witness. It's just not rallied anywhere, so you probably can't see it. That being said, this attack, or this drop, could be somewhat significant. The Architect is actually going to intercept it with this Envoy. And so a 3rd base on the way with still no 2nd base here for Beaver, with a skirmish on the same side. I'm not sure either one of them saw the dot on the minimap. So he does fall away with all of his Drakodons intact, one of them barely so. He can go ahead and retake this base, and the Envoy is now pivoting to another angle, trying to go where the military isn't, of course. The Trojan's going to go ahead and unload. One of the Hurricans was unfortunately not able to immediately make contact with that Warden. The Architect is nearly finished, so I don't think that this attack force is going to be too significant. He's also not moving out of the detonation zone of his own mine, so that's a little bit awkward. And indeed, a bunch of Scribes did actually go down, so that ended up being quite effective. I'm looking on the lookout for the Envoy. It still hasn't moved anywhere, and the Architect wasn't even used in that fight due to its rally positioning being all the way over here, and Mesk being fluffled, as he would say. More Vultures are available. The Trojan did make it out alive and can be repaired. Nothing else out of the star pad, and it looks like it's just going to be Cyprians now. Some more Achmeds for the drop, presumably. Not sure if the Architect is going to be insurance policy that this base doesn't get dropped and killed, or is it going to be something else? We did see the Wraith idling over here. That could still be used to path around for more vision. The Witness is available still over this embassy, but especially now that there's no Warden, you're a little bit less likely to get absolutely owned, right? Another one is on the way, but... Now this force was idled over here. Can definitely come in and do some damage. Did bruise yet another Drakodon. More units could be moved down here, but it looks like, again, Beaver is a little bit slow to start with that. He can even save that Goliath. Yes, indeed he does. Oh, well, 5 HP. Does Mesk remember? No, I don't think so. All of his units are terribly bruised at this point. Vultures over here can lay some lobotomy mines to catch any more movement, and then maybe charge forward for a couple of kills, or rotate all the way through to just start harassing this base, which has some Drakodons. Some of them are wounded. I think this band of Vultures could kill those Drakodons and then kill some Scribes. People are not very accustomed to the idea of Drakodons successfully killing things. Vultures successfully killing things that are not, small units. A quarry being put down here where the natural was taken in that position instead. The general gist of the expansion timing on here, as the Envoy with the Architect was pulled away. Oh, unfortunately, these Vultures are all going to get focused down. He's actually going to try to charge for it. I mean, it's not a bad move. If you get close enough to it, it doesn't split the missile. And an Iskatumesk has been sighted, at least heard. Iquare graces us with his presence. Dude, when can we expect Solstice to remodel Iquare? That's what I want to know. But beyond that, the expansion timing here is basically, if you take this base, you're expecting tempo. It gives you more outward potential. If you take this base, you're trying to macro up because it gives you more minerals and more gas. So 1 extra ridge and a couple extra mineral fields. Obviously, it makes you less likely to have an outward pressure on the map. Now, Mesk is starting to set up his base over here in the top right. Could have been harvesting from it a lot faster, but he's starting to grab some more gas, it looks like, or maybe he's just shy on full saturation on that ridge there. That's about it. Definitely needs a bit more saturation in general. But he has caught up in workers, right? He has the embassy for an additional worker queue. He has the Nexus up here. So he's actually even in worker queues as soon as this treasury gets built. He seems to have forgotten that he had a treasury over here, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Atlas is more than halfway done. Some lobsters will maybe sight the Iskatumesk and Architects. Obviously, you don't know what's happening over there. And I think the Witness did spot the Trojan drops. So that's why they are returning. Wraith once again moving around. So at least Mesk finally remembered he had a witness. Now there's an ant seal here. It could actually spot this witness if he's just moves it up into the right-hand side slightly. And actually, you know what? A little bit of a bamboozling move here, as the Mavericks have confirmed this position. The drop is destined for it. The Wraith will also scout out what's going on, just to confirm what's happening. And there's a lot of defenses being put to the test here. Unfortunately, that was probably the heaviest hitter unload there. It had like I think it had 4 Cyprians in it. So, okay, well, he's going to kill an engram for free. That's always nice because those are very expensive. He could still stand to kill these wardens off, but I think the other defenses are going to finish in time. He's going to go for the pylon. Also not a bad choice. Could have done that a little bit sooner. And he should evacuate the Trojans. So, not too shabby. Another pylon being completed down there. And the drop is there also. Well, in that sense, it's just a matter of time before Meska resaturates the base in the top right. He's pathing his troop transports over. Obviously, the witness will catch these, so that will tell him all he needs to know. The Atlas was completed, but nothing doing about it just yet. More units being rallied around the map. This treasury did try to move it to the bottom left, but these Dracodons have endured, and now we're starting to see a bunch of worker kills happen. So the Protoss is 20 workers ahead. This base is back to mining in the top right. So this is not looking too hot. I'll tell you that much. This might actually be game here because I don't really know what else can be done. Obviously, there's a lot of units moved around, but no anchors in position. Not really that many Cyprians, which obviously, without being put in anchors, the Architects will deal quite a bit of damage to them. That treasury is not long for this world. Confirmed there. And the Envoys are also in a spot where I'm not so sure that they're even going to get sniped or punished. Now, oh, he's trying. He's trying really hard. He can't do it. Oh, he can. He got it at the last second. And the witness is the only thing that he really loses there, along with maybe some sanity/brain cells. Now, an Optecton is coming out of the Ancestral Archives. We saw that in the game against with the Shambler against Alexander. I think with a drop, it's going to be even more effective. Fleet Beacon also on the way. So, some pretty good tech. More Dracodons were rallied down here just to be a thorn in the side, and actually they will clean this force up almost certainly. So, pretty good in that sense. Beaver getting run roughshod over. He can take this micro ridge base here, the ridge and gas, and he's starting to get some Gorgons out. So that can safeguard him against the Envoys if he catches them. Obviously, it can slow them down. Not going to be too effective at breaking the positions here. With the Crucible enchanting the defenses, yeah, okay, it's only 4 Wardens, but they attack so much faster with this. So, you know, just for comparison, right, we're at a 0.7 cooldown compared to a 0.9 cooldown. That's a pretty significant difference. So you'll feel that when they get, if they ever get some action here. And with that treasury destroyed and this one going over to the gas base, it's going to be a while before he can resaturate that base. That's actually going to be quite difficult. Now, the Gorgons are here, but they are going to get swatted by the Wardens. I think maybe... Yeah, okay, they'll actually be able to kill this base, or that particular defensive structure. But he went with his first 3 Wardens instead of, like, a whole group of them, right? Which would have been a little bit more effective. He's starting to, you know, fully saturate that, but yeah. I think most of his workers, he loses the Gorgons because they weren't on hold position. Most of his workers are actually in this base. Like, there's not that many over here. A bunch of them are idling. So the Beaver definitely could be a little bit more focused in that sense. He's still going to be going up against Solarians, against Optectons. Some Atriuses as well are being created. With a Grand Library in the back. Mesk has a lot of money. Mesk has a lot of power at this stage, right? He's got capped geysers in the top right. He obviously can go for caps in his main. And the Solarian being out alongside the doom drop of the sequestered icons in the Envoys. You know, sequestered icon units in the Envoys. Yeah, there's some Gorgons over here guarding that base. If that is an angle of attack, they could be potentially fluffed. But there's no static defense. No watchdogs. Very minimal on the anchor count. Some vultures are going to get sent out for map control. Again, you could lay mines and stuff. That could definitely work out pretty well. And the Witness will catch this mech army moving out, although army is a generous term. The Wyvern is, once again, in a silly position. I feel like... Let's hear it. Oh, he's thinking of Star Sovereigns. I misread that as SCVs. So I was really confused. I was like, what, is he gonna... do what Snow did to our Artosis a while ago? Here comes the unload. Goliath needed 1 shot and he was gone. Now, if they load back up, again, the Gorgon might be able to do something. But without that, I'm not so sure. You can see how vulnerable Architects actually are. You know, 3 Gorgons, without even minimizing the damage dealt by the spread rather, were able to deal with the Architects. So they are very vulnerable. Obviously, a little bit of micro could have saved him. Didn't end up happening. And it will be a 3rd Solarian. It's funny that nobody is using Crucibles for their production facilities. DF showed it off in a couple of the matches that he played, particularly in Ascension 2, that you can really get a lot of that done. So it's kind of funny that that's not the case here. Now, the Wyverns are here. They plus the Gorgons, plus the Achmeds even, should be able to clean this up a little bit. And, yeah, there's not really going to be any opportunity for this to be super effective. Get him, Achmed! Achmed killed Iquare! Oh, my goodness. We know the answer. We know why he left. Or vanished, rather. Well, okay, the Beaver is... He's not really in the game, but he's been given an opportunity to come back into the game. He's starting to resaturate this base. He's starting to take the space again. You know, okay, there's something. He doesn't have any caps, even though he's got the Atlas for a long time, so he definitely could have done that. The Gorgons are going to go ahead and move out on this side. An Archon, as well as some Grand Library units, and another Archon are indeed on the way. So he's not going to actually catch any of those units. So he might get surprised when his Wyverns... Oh, no, I don't think his Wyverns are going to get picked off by the Solarians either. So this force will connect, but there are 2 Wardens over here. So, yeah, sure. You know, the Gorgons are going to be able to do something here. But I think the Solarians did spot the Wyverns here. So absolute slappening. Not long for this world. The Wyverns have 1 shot on there, and then, yeah, they're gone. Meanwhile, a bunch of forces coming down here. This can indeed wipe this. There's not really much there. So that is going to be another base shut down. And I wonder... Oh, that's actually not too bad. The Lobster Mine got him and tickled the Envoy. So that's pretty good, actually. He says, yeah. I think he's going to be typing another message that's just 2 characters, if you know what I mean. But again, as I talked about in the last castover, it's actually a pretty good idea to play as long as is reasonable. I mean, it doesn't make for good castover games necessarily, but you know, if you really want to try to hold on and see what you can manage at this skill level, you could come back, and even beyond that, it gives you a little bit more of an information boost. You can understand a little bit more viscerally how units work, what the pathing is, and that, I mean, maybe even for castovers, it gives me an opportunity to turn it into a little bit of a podcast towards the end, where I talk a little bit about what I've seen in this game and all of that. And, you know, I've seen, once again, if you don't kill Mesk, who has hilariously walled in one of his workers, yeah, that's going to come back into you. If you don't kill his worker, then he gets to wall it off later on in the game, and also build an entire base. We saw that in versus Benno. We saw an empty anchor, Terran Heresy, and of course, at this point, the Archons are simply unkillable, it looks like. The Wyverns are trying their best. They're not really being microed, and Beaver says, GG. Yeah, I think it was an interesting match, for sure, and we do have a second one for you, so stay tuned for that. Of course, the score screen. How could I forget the score screen? How could I forget the water? And how could I forget the coffee shop? All right, I think that's pretty much it. On to the next one. We are back, baby. It's IskatuMesk against Beaver, and I couldn't find IskatuMesk for a second. This is a really old map. This is Sunstarved. I don't think it was updated. Oh, maybe I did update all my maps, even the old ones. I don't rate the layout, but hey, we'll get to see whether or not it made a good game anyway. So, yeah, here we do indeed have Beaver on the top, and on the bottom we do have Mesk. He has rolled Zerg. I expect this game will be shorter than the last one because, well, I mean, you never really know, but Zerg tends to either win in 20 minutes or fall flat, at least so far that we've seen. But Mesk's best race is probably Zerg, and he has had some good matches on it relative to, you know, what we've maybe expected or what have you. Yeah, so, hey, it's cool. We'll see what happens. This Mason is going to go ahead and scout from the bottom side. I actually don't know if either of these players remember this map layout. It was a long time ago. It does have islands in the top left and the bottom right. See what happens there. Stockade is going to be scouted, and the Droleth is out for blood. First attack. But is it going to be first blood, actually? Guess we'll find out. Zork is on the way. Now, when you pull a worker to defend, you also want to start antagonizing one of his workers to reduce his mining as well. But at this point, I think it's pretty much all safe because the Maverick is on the way, and it's the fastest training unit in the game. I think maybe besides the Vassal. The Vassal might be the fastest one. He stole your gas! What are you going to do about that? Apparently nothing. A Mesk Advisor is coming soon, by the way. He hit me with the recordings. I am setting up the framework from the programming side. That's what I was doing yesterday's stream. And Cringe Zork is. Well, just scout the unit. Scout the first unit. That's what I would do. Now, what he can do is, of course, just stim these Mavericks forward and just kill a bunch of workers or apply some pressure. Maybe at the same time as building an anchor. I think that would just squash Mesk immediately. But instead, he's typing. Got him typing. It's going to be a Gorgor Core. If you can't scout this, then you can't build a Watchdog to fight it, and therefore you might lose. And this map, also as big as it is, obviously has a small rush distance, right? So there's a lot of things putting the Gorgor Core in favor. We'll see if Mesk can pull it out here, or if he's and he's practicing that, right? He wants to see what he can do. And any practice is good practice for Mesk because he's fucking random. He allowed his Droleth to return the gas all the way back so he can harvest again. He's distance mining from your main. Bro. How could you? I wonder if Mesk even noticed. He's like, what the fuck? Why is my worker there? But there's 4 Mavericks here. They are not long for this world. This might just be a very fast game. I'm honestly not sure. Oh, they clump up and everything. Oh. Mesk is having a kerfluffle. Scout with Ahmed. Tank with Ahmed, dude. He can do it. He can give you vision. Especially if it was on hold position so it didn't get aggroed. I mean, you can just shoot it with impunity. So that's pretty good. Now, the Watchdog is nearly done, so at this point, the Gorgor Core is not going to be able to do anything, and I guess we'll just stabilize into a more sensible game. We do have double Lakizalis coming. Absolutely slapped. And a lot of Mavericks. So the Mavericks into the double Stockade play into Zorkiz, that is kind of bold. I mean, I guess if you get Cyprians and an Anseal to go with, you can clear out the Lakizalis. Oh, they don't outrange Lakizalis is the problem, so I actually don't really know. Maybe if you bring an anchor or something, anything is possible. With feet. Anything is possible. Lakizalis will go ahead and burrow at the... No, they're going to stretch out forward. I think they're going to stretch their legs or claws or whatever the fuck they have. This is the third fucking return. This guy's just mining from your geyser. Hello. And Azorius still left on the way. Well, this could do a lot of damage, actually, depending on the timing here. But also it could do... This is a base trade situation almost, I feel like. Because, like, there's not really anything you can do versus the Lakizalis. But at the same time... I mean, Terran can just lift off their shit and hibernate, so... A lot of the Masons are dying. Zorkiz is being focused down. Yeah, there you go. Not long for this world. The Azorius is dead. You can just focus down the Hatrask at this point. And again, you can lift your Ministry, lift your Stockades, and go elsewhere to greener pastures onto an island or something. Harakans are committing genocide against Droleths. It's an absolute massacre. Hey, Lakizalis is up. Focus it down. No! No! The Lakizalis lived! It burrowed. Put a unit over it. What are you doing? Get it. Oh my god, it had one... It's 2 hits. No, Ahmed, don't die to it. All right, there you go. That's dead at least. Hey, he found it. He found it. Get it. Ooh, slapped. All right. All right, we're safe. And I think Mesk is dead to elimination. Does he have a structure anywhere else? This is the last factory, so... Okay, well, we ended with a real quick one. That's GG. And Mesk is going to get absolutely slapped, as far as I can tell. Oh, he has one over here. It's scouted, though. He found it. He can go fuck it up. Now, he doesn't have enough money to create another structure, so he's good. Like, this is the only thing he has. If this gets sniped, then it's GG. He can pull all of his Masons. He can pull, grab all of his units. Yeah. Get him. Fucking get him, dude. Absolute slapping. Where'd the Ministry go? That's what I want to know. Did the Ministry die? I don't think so, right? Oh, no, it's just over here. Okay. One of the Lakizalis has been found. It's even body blocked, and Ahmed is there. Okay, one of them is dead, and the other one died. It's over. GG. Absolute slap. And well, I'm glad Mesk added that game in. What a fucking what a match. Okay, well that was pretty funny. We didn't actually get to see the normal play that you normally see, but hey, Sunstarved is a really old map, so it doesn't surprise me. That's gonna be it, folks. This is yet another castover. Like I said, we got a couple of more in the back burner there or the backlog. In fact, I'll just quickly tell you, we got an educational match, a series that I have to cast between Alexander and Benno. We have Shambler versus Solstice, 4 games on pre-release. We'll wait for that. We have, what was it? Shambler versus Lundier. I think there's like 3 games or something like that to cast. That's on release. So yeah, we're gonna get through all of these, and then we're gonna be in the promised land of Selection Extender. Stay tuned.